The reason you guys are all here. Please welcome Jason Bond. Yes, that's okay. Yep.
Perfect. All right, gang. So today you guys are here to talk through breaking the cycles that are holding you back. And before we get into that, I need to share a little update in the Bonds family. So what's going on in the Bonds family? Yes. So we have a new baby. We have a new baby. We had a miniature schnauzer for 13 years named Matt. Just an amazing dog. Matt helped us raise our kids, and he was just an awesome, like man's best friend, amazing dog. And we lost him in November. Super sad. And then, Nikki and I were like, hey, we're empty nesters. So do we really need a dog? Do we need a puppy in the house again? And so we are like, well, let's just wait a while to see what happens, how we feel about it. And I just could not live without the furry friend in the house. I mean, I've never lived in a house without a dog, except for 2 years when we were in an apartment in Colorado. And it was just like, I love coming home to that unconditional love. The little puppy meets you at the door. Like, no matter what, this dog loves me and is happy to see me. This is not Mac. This is Charlie. Charlie Brown, but Mac was black and tan, and so we wanted to get a schnauzer, but just a different color. So we searched high and low and found Mr. Charlie. And there are times where I just want to pinch the life of this dog. I mean, like, I love him to death, and he's cute as a button. But you see that right there? Those are razor sharp. And so his nickname is not Charlie Brown, it's Charlie Sharp. It's Charlie Sharp because this dog will launch at you and chomp on anything in his range. And he's super cute. I love him to death. He's definitely, after we work through the puppy stage, it's going to be awesome again. And there are moments. There are definitely moments now. But it's been an interesting transition in our house because we were like footloose and fancy free, and everybody in our world was potty trained, and no one bit us, and all of those things. And here we are again in that stage. So we've done this to ourselves. All right. So there's a cycle that we're going to talk about. It exists when you understand it, and you understand and can identify it, and employ strategies to get through it, you will be so much better at pursuing your goals and success in life. So we're going to get into it. But first, I want to ask you, how are you feeling about the real estate market? Like, in your opinion, right now, a difficulty level on doing business in real estate now and in the very near future, how would you rate it? Easy, normal, difficult, hard, extreme, insane. How would you rate the difficulty level in real estate right now? And I have one insane.
I would say it depends on your perspective.
Depends on your perspective.
I mean, how long you've been doing it, because some people get into this and it's like, oh, this is cool.
Well,
I'm at the normal range.
let me just say that it's normal, but my transactions are insane. I mean, just long story.
Some insanity going on.
Mm.
Who else? What are you feeling? What do you feel? What do you see?
It's difficult.
Difficult?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not super easy or normal, but it's not
Yeah.
insane yet.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Couple more. Difficult. Yeah. So I had this guy right here because I talk to a lot of people in the business, and this is what a lot of the people that I talk to are feeling like right now, is that there are some challenges. And there are some challenges that we have to overcome. We're hitting the wall on several things, and we've got a lot of changes going on in the marketplace. Now, don't get me wrong, you know me, I'm an opportunity is now here kind of person. And there are times where we have to truly just make peace with, identify, absolutely call it what it is. And what it is right now is there are some challenges. We are somewhere down here right now. Depending on your perspective, your own situation, we are somewhere right down here. So let's talk about the cycle. Let's talk about the different areas. This is a message, just so you know, we're going to jump in. This is a message that our pastor, Kevin Myers at 12 Stone, and if you go to 12 Stone, you may have heard this message before. And I love it that you're going to get to hear it again because I listened to this again and again for my own personal pursuit of goals and to get through challenges. And so I do give all the credit to Kevin Myers, PK, for this conversation of the A zone, B zone, and C zone. So A zone, B zone, C zone. The A zone is where everything in life begins. Everything goes through these cycles, but the A zone is where everything begins. The A zone is full of promise. Everything is new. The new job, new relationship, grand opening, the honeymoon, your gym membership in the beginning of the year, your new real estate career, new car, everything starts in the A zone. The opening day of the Falcons season is always a fresh start at A zone. It is for me, and then it generally spirals and is a big challenge. But everything is new and fresh and full of promise. The deal, though, is that nothing in life ever stays in the A zone. Nothing in life. It always transitions from the A zone into the B zone. And the B zone is full of what? Problems. The B zone is full of problems. It's hard work, challenges. This is where things begin to get difficult. The B zone is where life gets difficult. It's also where growth in life happens. In the B zone is where we grow as people. So the B zone, you get the first scratch on the new car. You don't want to go to the second day of your gym membership workout program on January 3rd or 4th. You have the first disagreement with your significant other or business partner. You get your business cards and you decide your logo in real estate. You really love all of those wonderful things that you spend a lot of time on. And now you have to start actually lead generating and getting in front of potential clients. Your listing goes on the market. And 2 weeks later, your listing hasn't sold yet. That's B zone. Your kid doesn't act the way that you should. Your puppy is biting your fingers. That's B zone. Interest rates double. The business slows down. And the rules of engagement begin to significantly change in the business. Welcome to the B zone. So the B zone is where you have to fight. You have to really, really grapple in the B zone to get through to the C zone. B zone pressure builds. And what happens is if you hit the B zone, you're not prepared and you don't build B zone muscle to get through, then B zone pressure makes you want to Q zone, which is quit. So the B zone pressure makes you want to Q zone. And the great temptation in the B zone is to Q zone and then to look for another A zone. So then this begins this vicious cycle in life where you have the wonderful, full of promise, shiny new circumstance, situation, opportunity. You get into the work of the situation and you hit a brick wall. You don't have B zone muscle. You're not pushing through. So you Q zone just so you go and look for another shiny A zone. And this begins to happen over and over and over. And you can see it in people. Perhaps you've seen it. I've seen it in areas of my life before where you just cycle. You're like, I'm A zone, crap, I'm in the B zone. I'm in the Q zone, look for another A zone. I'm in the B zone, I'm in the Q zone, look for another A zone. And it just happens like this over and over and over. And you're always looking for the newness, but you never have development in those areas. You never have maturity in those areas. You never reap the rewards of those areas because when you get to the B zone, you just Q zone and look for the next A zone. It's a never ending cycle. A couple of things happen in the B zone is people never quit. Generally, they don't quit the big thing first. They quit small things first. So you begin to quit on small things first when you're in the B zone. Let's say you're in a challenging time. Let's just talk about marriage. My wife is in the room, so I will watch what I say. But it's when you're in the V zone, let's say marriage is difficult, you're in the V zone. You don't quit on the marriage right away. You quit on things like saying, hey, you look beautiful today. Wow, I really like that outfit. Saying I love you whenever you leave. The random little touches, touches like text messages, phone calls, the random communication during the day that show each other that you love each other and you're thinking about them, you begin to quit on those things. And when you quit on those things and then you're spiraling, that's that spiral, the descent into a potential Q zone. Another thing that happens in the B zone is we tend to escape. So we escape into things like maybe alcohol or hobbies, exercise, anything that will keep your mind off of the challenges of the B zone, people will tend to escape into. And then you don't have to think about where you are in the B zone. Another escape that happens is you have people who maybe you have a really great situation. You're in the C zone in one area of your life, but you're in the B zone in another area. And instead of pressing into this area, you escape into the other. Yeah, let's go back to marriage. Let's say the marriage is tough and you're having challenges, but work is really good. And so you might escape out into the area that's really good and escape away from the B zone work that would make that thing really good. You stay at work longer. You go in when you shouldn't be going in. You escape into the office and you're doing more work and avoiding the things in the B zone. And so you notice that people will tend to escape or to quit on small things when the B zone when they're headed towards the Q zone. And when you Q zone, there's a lot of carnage. So this cycle creates a lot of carnage in lives. Half done projects, half done commitments, racking up debt, investments that aren't mature, relationships that aren't healthy, marriages that are broken, children that are a mess. I mean, this cycle creates a lot of carnage. So when you find yourself in the B zone, the answer is not to Q zone, but it's to dig in and build that muscle in the B zone so that you can get to the C zone. The C zone is full of payoffs. The C zone is full of payoffs. This is where all this good stuff is. This is your 30th, 40th wedding anniversary, high functioning adult children, the joy of grandchildren, success in business that provides more than you need, maturing of long-term investment strategies, personal self-awareness, self-confidence, physical fitness, health and vitality, unshakable relationships. Freedom lives in the C zone. But you have to go through the B zone to get there. Everybody wants the hope fulfilled that lies in the C zone, but not everyone is willing to go through the toil and the challenges and the hard work in the B zone. And you can't jump from here to there. And when you think you can jump from here to there, what you end up doing is getting here and Q zoning and back to A zone and living in this cycle. You don't win in the A zone. You don't win in the A zone. You want in the A zone and you want to get to the C zone, but the victory is found in the B zone. So a couple of questions for you. Where right now in your world are you facing B zones? Yes.
Kids in home life. Wait, yeah.
Kids in home life, difficult, challenging stage, having to push through. Thank you for sharing that. Yes.
Lead generation.
Lead generation, having a challenge, doing what you need to do to make the business happen. Very common. Both of those are very common. Where else? What areas are you having to push through?
Listings that are just sitting.
Yeah, that is a unique challenge from the unique, at least for the last 4 years. Yes.
having purposeful conversations with my buyers who are having challenges finding the right property right now.
So limited inventory, challenging conversations with the buyers. Yes. Yeah. Totally. What else?
Lead conversion.
Lead conversion. So getting people off the fence into an appointment, onto an agreement, and moving forward in the process. Yeah. What else?
Family situations that, elderly parents, that kind of stuff, just trying to lean on you.
Yeah, Tiffany just mentioned about the power of attorney and having mental fitness for the person who has issued that power of attorney to you. I've shared with her in the hallway. I just lived through that when my mom passed away. I had power of attorney. We had our house on the market. We had it under contract, and she began to go into a state where she would not have passed that check in. She was in and out of it. And we were able to close that property while she was totally coherent. And if someone would have called and checked in on that, she would have passed that. But then she passed away shortly after. And yeah, we were B zone with mom for a really long time. But I also just wanted to bring that back around to, hey, those situations with the power of attorney, like Tiffany was not joking right there. It is a real deal. She dealt with it twice in the last little bit. I dealt with it personally in the last 2 months. The real deal. So. But yes, family situations.
I think, I have an idea that if you don't take the B zone, outline it out in all of our problems, and then write down what we're gonna do to get to the Z zone versus going down to the Q zone.
So we're going to talk about how do you build B zone muscle right now. So thank you. Very nice segue. I appreciate that. I gave her the. So Maxwell says everything in life that's worthwhile is what? Uphill. You can't have uphill hopes and dreams and downhill habits. And so often we want to have downhill habits and we want the reward of those uphill dreams. And you just can't have it both ways. So how do you build B zone muscle? Here we go. You have to identify that you're in, recognize and identify that you're in the B zone. If you don't recognize and identify it and call it what it is, then you might just get yourself into a Q zone situation before you know. Nikki and I have integrated this into our vocabulary as a couple and into our family vocabulary. We say things like, man, that's B zone stuff right there. And we've been having this conversation for many, many years. This is a message we heard a long time ago. And we say, this is B zone stuff right here. It's like, oh man, they're solidly in the B zone in that, or we're solidly in the B zone. It is a conversation. And I know that if we say these zones all like really fast, a lot, it gets confusing. But if you just learn the vocabulary around the B zone, recognize when you're in the A zone and transitioning, stay away from Q zone because you're working towards C zone and build some language around that. We say it all the time. I mean, we're solidly in the B zone. We are in the B zone right now with Charlie Brown. Okay. And so we love him through that. And we're not throwing him off the back porch because we know that there's a C zone. Yes.
It's just, you're talking about building language around this, and since you've been talking about the B zone, I've been thinking about a professor that delivered a commencement speech, and love it. I printed it out, it's on my wall. It says, there is no growth in the comfort zone and no comfort in growth. And that
Yes.
is the B zone.
That's B zone right there. So you identify that. And this is such an easy language to adopt. And it's such an easy thing to identify when you're looking for it. There's another thing that Nikki and I, when we were deep in the Great Recession and we were on the verge of losing our house and in financial dire straits, and we were at a really an inflection point in our financial world. And there was some kind of righteous, power that came in right there. And we looked at each other and I said, this is where most people quit, but not us. And we say that all the time. Life is challenging. B zone shows up. If you want the C zone, then you have to have some kind of a mantra like that. This is where most people quit, but not us. This is where most people quit, not me. And we have said that a million times to each other in our pursuit of what we're called to in this world. And we're going to say it a million more times before we're dead, I promise you. And so it is just like that is a language you have to identify, adopt a language, and we're so grateful for the C-zone experiences that we get to have. You have to acknowledge and put the hard work in. Look, if you put the hard work in and it doesn't work out, then what do? Put the hard work in again. Keep going. This is very similar to one of the 6 personal perspectives, E to P. Yes, thank you. E to P. I was thinking about asking for participation in that, David, but I was concerned that I might get silenced. So I was just going to say that. I appreciate you speaking up on it. Thank you. So E to P, which is what?
Entrepreneurial.
See, you guys are so good. So look, you hit your head against the ceiling because things are challenging and you're beyond what you can do. And then chaos shows up. You're in the B zone. You implement systems and processes, tools and resources, and then you are able to break through the ceiling to the next level. That's B zone stuff. Just like E to B. So other strategies are to connect with a mentor. Connect with someone who's been through the B zone you're in before and successfully navigated that. So when you connect with a mentor, then you can have those conversations with someone who's walked that path. That's been so powerful in our lives, where we sit down with someone and ask for their time and value their time and ask meaningful questions and then go put in place the hard work that that person shares with you that helped them. That is big stuff for B zone muscle. Getting accountability in your life is another key point. I've said a million times that the human mind left unchecked can rationalize anything. So when you're in the B zone, if you're in isolation, your human mind can rationalize the Q zone super easy because you think there's another fantastic, wonderful, better A zone that'll have a smaller B zone so you can get faster to the C zone. Accountability in your life. Have some accountability that keeps you focused and engaged in doing what you're supposed to do. You got to have a place to vent. You got to pressure relief. You have to. If you just bottle everything up, then you might explode in inappropriate times. And so you have to have a place to vent. Now, here's what I'm saying is somewhere where you have a healthy conversation with someone who will hear what you're saying and then turn around and give you good, positive, constructive feedback back to you. I'm not talking about a water cooler where everybody's bitching and moaning and complaining about everything, and you're just feeding into each other's crappy excuses about why things aren't going well. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about someone who, when you are just going to validate a challenging thing that you're experiencing so that, then that person says, oh, it's okay. You just need to Q zone that thing. Like you just need to quit that thing. I'm not saying that you never need to Q zones. There are times where you do need to quit something purposefully, intentionally, with good contemplative process and seeking some counsel and advice on whether you should quit something. There are times when you should. Have a place to vent and have a place to recharge. The real estate industry is really bad at this, okay? Because you have the ability to go 24/7. And so many people think if you just go 24/7, then you'll get further and do better. The reality is you have to have those recharge moments. You have to know what drains your energy. You have to know what areas are limited resources for you. And when you pour those resources out, you've got to go fill your bucket back up. You've got to recharge. What other ways can you guys think of on building B zone muscle? So reflect on what you've already accomplished. Is that what you said? Yeah. So gap in the game, like look at how far you've come and let that inspire you to go further. I love that. Yes. What else?
Just be thankful for like you, get focused on the negative. There's a lot that I have.
Yeah. So do gratefulness exercises. I love that. Yes.
Don't let other people drain your battery.
Don't let other people drain your battery. Yes. Know the toxic people in your world and don't get around the toxic people. Where's Miss Wanda Couch? Wanda. All right, so we have a very dear person in the room today, Wanda Couch, who is I came here in 2009. Wanda was an agent here when I came here, and so she goes way back in this place. And is it okay if I share a little bit of what?
That'd be fine.
Okay. So Wanda has battled through some B zones in her life. And she's an amazing woman and amazingly persistent. And she has B zone muscle. I told this story before we came in, but I'm gonna tell it again. So here's Wanda, and Wanda says, I'm working with Roddy White, Falcons player Roddy White. So I know who Roddy White is. And this is the time where Roddy White was the premier #1 receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, I mean, major. This is a Hall of Famer. This is when he was at his prime. And she's like, I'm working with Roddy White. I'm like, okay, Wanda, all right. And she said, I want him to meet my broker. So I'm going to bring Roddy in to meet you. And I said, I would love to meet Roddy White. Please bring him in. And so I believed you, and I wanted to see with my own eyes Roddy White. So she says, he's coming in this day. And I said, all right, great. And so she comes in, and we're going to meet Roddy. And then, he had another thing. He couldn't make it. He can't be here today. I'm sorry. So then she says, hey, Roddy White is going to come in today. Will you be here? I said, yes, I will be here. For Roddy White, Wanda Couch. Okay. So then I'm in that conference room right there, and I'm looking out the window, and out of the car comes Roddy White and walks up the parking lot and in the door. And I'm like, hey, Roddy White, my goodness, man, nice to meet you. And she worked with him and sold him several properties, but she just is an amazingly persistent person. She shared this morning about, Wanda was diagnosed with cancer and was on a very, very, very difficult path with no hope, and leaned into prayer and hope, and the surgeon or the specialist working with her said that in 20 something years he's never seen a recovery like yours. And so I'm attributing that.
I said, when you want to know if I was in pain, I said, I don't worry about that. God's got it.
Yeah.
And he just kind of shake his head like, yeah, right, And then 8 months later, he told me that he never in all his career, he said, honey, God must have had you because he said, I didn't think you'd live.
Yeah.
And here I am. As far as determination, I had prayed for a while. Lord, send me a falcon, send me a falcon. That's the very thing that I never really told anybody. So the first falcon I came across, I was driving down the Atlanta Highway.
I do remember this
Okay,
story.
right.
I know this story. Yeah, this is a good one. I'm glad you're telling.
So I said, Lord, just give me a falcon. When is this going to happen? I look up and lo and behold, it was one of the new coaches that had just arrived on the scene, was running down along Atlanta Highway. I said, oh my God, thank you. I whipped my car back around and I get up ahead of him. And here I am in a nice dress and high heeled boots. I stop my car. I jump out. I come running up towards him. I give him my card and tell him that, hey, I'm an agent. I really need to work with you. And so he thought I was crazy. We run back up towards my car. And I said, well, I gotta go now, but be sure and call me. And he called me that day, but we didn't get the deal because his career there did not last very long. But thank you, Lord, for the opportunity.
Shall
And
receive.
I went home, my husband, I said, yes. He goes, what'd you do today? And I said, oh, I went running down Atlanta Highway with the Atlanta Falcon coach. He goes, BS.
B zone muscle right here
Yes.
and power of prayer. So thank you for being here, Wanda. It's so wonderful
You're
to see your
welcome.
face today. I haven't seen you in a long time. There's a disclaimer I also have to tell you is that when you get to the C zone and you get to a place where you're having payoffs, there are times where you will go back into the B zone for a season in that same thing. It just happens. And that's okay. Like, you just have to identify it, know that you're there, and lean in, use that B zone muscle that you've built, and get back to the C zone. I'll give you 2 quick examples. One, I spent a decade in new homes with a wonderful company, a wonderful man, Millard Bowen. And I really thought that I would spend my entire career with Millard at Millard Bowen Communities. Amazing man, took me under his wing. Bob Hartwell was my boss at this company, and Bob was constantly pouring into me and would always tell me that, you're going to run this company one day. Like Bob, I have wonderful relationships in a great company, fantastic reputation, and somewhere that you would want to spend a career at. I was feeling C-zone stuff, earning more money than we needed at the time. And it was wonderful with wonderful people and a long-term plan of great success with people I loved and adored. And then the Great Recession happened. And building took a 75% hit and everything's in the crapper. And if a builder wasn't taking his or her own life, then they were basically managing how to deal with creditors for the next 5, 6, 10 years. And it was a challenge. I had to change. So I went from a great situation and in the C zone back to solidly in the B zone. And that is when Bob Hartwell introduced me to Keller Williams. And that's when I made the transition in 2009 here. It was one of the best decisions ever. It's like one of the best transitions. But it wasn't without significant B zone, like hard work. Last one, Nikki and I, we wonderful marriage. We're going to celebrate 31 years this December. And we've got one of the best marriages that I know. We have these wonderful kids, and whenever they were kind of in and out of the house, so we had one that had launched and one's in and out and one's still there. And we're like, man, C-zone stuff with the family is amazing. And then when they all got out and we became empty nesters, we're like, we got to figure this out. Like there was a transition, and we've always put God first and then us second, our kids after that, and relationships with other people after. We had like a solid priority and hierarchy in our household, but we still found ourselves as soon as we became empty nesters back in the B zone. Like, okay, well, we need to talk about this, and what about that, and what about this, and what about that? And we wanted to get back to the C zone in our relationship, so we battled through the B zone. Many coffees in the morning talking through things. And when we didn't understand or couldn't work things out, then we met back for another coffee and continued that conversation and continued it and continued it and continued it. And so there are times where you get in the C zone and you have to come back to the B zone. So I'll leave you with this. We are solidly in the B zone in the real estate industry. You just are. You got to make peace with that. There are tons of opportunities. You can far exceed your financial goals in this B zone. I promise you. I'm not telling you that you're going to live destitute until you get to the C zone. Don't mistake what I'm saying. We all have opportunity in this B zone, and it's going to be work. And we're going to have to put the work in. And we're going to have to exercise and build B zone muscle. And there are going to be challenges. There are going to be challenges with these transition into the new rules, into the new forms, into the new commission agreement structure and communication with other agents and our communication with our clients, all that stuff. If you were in the C zone in your real estate career, you've popped back into the B zone. If you were already in the B zone, congratulations, you get to grow more for a little while longer. Okay, so we are solidly in the B zone. And I'm telling you, you need to plug into the strategy for you. You need to plug into the amazing culture in this place. It's supremely unique. The culture of this place is extremely unique. You have the opportunity to plug into people who could be that mentor, who could be the person who's been there, walked through this type of thing before you. Bob said, not to put Bob on the spot and make him everybody's mentor, but he said it depends on where you are and what kind of things you've been through as to the difficulty level here. That is the voice of experience of someone who's been through multiple B zones in this industry. You approach it with far less, if any, fear and just determination to do what it takes to succeed and to take territory during this time. So plug into the amazing culture. Do not isolate. Do not isolate. That is one of the biggest killers of your spirit and of a real estate agent. When I see an agent isolate, they are almost always flirting with the Q zone. Do not isolate. There's too many things for you to plug into here. Build a tribe. Within the tribe, there are great small communities inside this larger community. Build your tribe inside this tribe. That's not cliquey. That's just powerful small group inside a larger powerful group. So do that. Build that. Notice when someone needs encouragement and offer and give that encouragement. Know when you need encouragement and seek out the presence and relationship with someone who will encourage you instead of someone who will spiral you deeper into negative thoughts. Help each other to push through to build B zone muscle. And the last thing I'll leave you with is this. This is where many will quit in the coming months and the next couple of years, but not us. Not you and not me. This is where many will quit, not us. B zone muscle. We're in it.
Mr. Bond. Justin, I fill your bucket in. She's gonna